Benin Bronzes represent development. Benin Bronzes represent civilization. It represents history, scientific and technological innovation, belief and values, religion and artistic era of the time when they were collected or looted in 1897. So about 128 years ago, Britain invaded Benin Kingdom and killed a lot of people, destroyed properties and investments, delayed development, and in order to take control of that kingdom, to what became the British colony afterwards. So that was how those beautiful, interesting, innovative materials were looted from Nigeria.
Yes, and how did they end up in the hands of the Dutch and, of course, other countries in Europe?
Well, I think it was the envy of Britain and European colonial groups to destroy such economy in order to take control. And in this process, so that punitive expedition of 1897 was not just orchestrated by British military troop alone. They also had some support from other countries, which led to, so afterwards, the loots were, shared amongst those that participated in the process. And also, the remaining ones were sold in the antiquity market. And this got spread across Europe, and including America and other places in the world. So, yes.
Yeah, and I'm assuming many of these pieces, apart from museums in other parts of Europe, and did many end up in private hands as well?
Of course. When the military personnel that participated in this punitive expedition returned to Europe, many of them retained the loots in their control and handed them to their families, and this moved from generation to generation. I think there was record of a family that actually returned their own to Benin and to Nigeria. And that was not just about a nation, it was a family deciding to return what their father, their ancestor, looted in 1897. So, of course, private hands, private properties, private collections, but also national collections.
Yes, and as far as the Netherlands is concerned, what's driven the nation's change of heart to then now say, you know what, let's return all these stolen treasures back?
Yeah, I think it's all political in a sense, but also dating back to Macron's statement a few years ago, which led to the committee he set that researched this process and delivered a report, and which asked European nations to begin to repatriate these materials. So, and I think that led to many European countries deciding to investigate and go into provenance research on these materials, trying to understand their context, the ones that actually came from the punitive expeditions and the others that didn't come through that process. So I think that must have instigated Netherlands to decide to return this, because that report actually stated that it was an injustice.
Yes, and of course, then brings us to the one country that does not want to return these, the UK. And of course, you know, as you said, they were looted by British troops from so many countries that the kingdom once ruled, not just the Benin Bronzes. So why is the UK not following the lead of the Netherlands and other countries?
Yeah, I think from what they claim is a constitutional matters. It has to do with the way most museums in the UK were established, and but the question is the law protecting crime, or is the law was the law made to atone for crimes? So I think UK should rethink this approach, because even if the laws that empowered museums to be independent of the national government can protect this, I think it's a time to look back into the kind of crime committed and try to do justice to it. So yes.
So are there any efforts to, let's say from the Nigerian government, for instance, to compel the UK to change its laws and perhaps instruct the British Museum to return, I believe, the 900 or so Benin Bronzes that they have in their possession?
Well, so I'm not speaking on behalf of Nigeria. I'm speaking as a researcher. So from what I know from scholarship and from research, there are several movements. The Benin movement. There is also movement from Nigerian side. I think the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, I've read, have requested for several of these objects from the British museums and other museums in the UK. And I think the legal complication is what is being cited. But yes, there are moves from Nigerian side. Yes.
Yes, and look, as you know, the Netherlands sends back the 100 plus or so artifacts, the Benin Bronzes, these precious jewels for Nigeria. What does it mean for Nigeria to have them returned?
Well, this is just one phase of the healing process. So restitution, the actual return of the materials. And I think we will come to the second phase because, first of all, Nigerians are feeling happy because these stolen materials, at least acknowledging that they were stolen and there was a process of crime and injustice. And that is the first phase. The second phase is also to think about what I call the process of reparation and reconciliation. So if you have committed crime against people, remember that the punitive expedition stopped development. It abridged development. It abridged economic opportunities. People were killed. Properties were destroyed, and the knowledge production that were principled on the indigenous people's knowledge system were, abridged from following civilization. And that was what led to the introduction of Eurocentric Western ways of knowledge production and ways of innovation. So for Nigerians, this recognition means that we are beginning to look back into our own development and civilization, and this will lead to subsequent thinking and innovation. As you know, there is the MOA project in Benin, and that also is an innovative thinking around this idea of returning Benin materials. We look forward to similar kind of innovations cropping up from Nigerian side, and also probably the economic opportunities missed, the fortunes made from the materials. I think this conversation has to start now. So the first phase is return. The second phase is reparation. That's valuing the destruction, the amount of the destruction, and thinking about how to take care of that. And the third phase should be reconciliation, so that the people can have psychological healings from what was done to their ancestors, to their civilization, to their science and technology, to their artistic aura and, knowledge production. So yes, Nigerians are really interesting.
Yes, we can do hope that these phases, as you mentioned, do go on as smoothly as possible. So Dr. J. Kelechi Ugwuanyi, really appreciate your time today, and thank you very much for giving us your insights into the story.
Thank you for inviting me.